Thank you very much for your introductory remarks and also your remarks, Dr. Jayasekara. Uh, it gives me great pleasure this evening to stand before you and speak a few words this evening once again at your award ceremony. When I see the program, I have been allotted 18 minutes. 7:50 to 8:08, and the next session will start at 8:10. So I suppose I have another maybe 2 minutes. So altogether 20 minutes. So I'll try to stick to that. So once again, it's a great pleasure to speak a few words at this award ceremony. Dr. Padmasiri Ranawakarachi, the President SLETAD, the council members, the members of SLETAD, and all the award recipients and certificate winners. When I was invited by Dr. Padmasiri Ranawakarachi, whom I affectionately call Padmasiri, a few weeks ago to come and speak a few words here as your chief guest, I readily accepted. But as time went by, when I was thinking of what I should say here, standing before you, I realized that I will have a challenging task, mainly due to the unfolding environment in the country. Because if I start talking about training and development alone, it will not suit this occasion. Today, as we all know, we have a very challenging environment unfolding before us. The companies we are working for, or maybe the state sector institutions you are working for, are undergoing immense challenges or facing immense challenges. So we need to understand and ready ourselves as to how we should respond to these challenges. That is of pivotal importance. Now, your institute has been in existence for nearly 23 years, and I am told that this institute has trained and developed thousands of professionals, which is a creditable and a noteworthy achievement. And it is an achievement the country should recognize, because training and development is something that we need to develop the country. Training, as I understand, is for today. Development is for tomorrow. Now, training and development allows you to excel in your own field. You may be HR professional, you may be a finance professional, you may be, engineering professional, maybe you are an architect. All these professionals need continuous training and development to keep excelling in their field. As I said, while training is for today, development is for tomorrow. Now, as training and development professionals, you have one key challenge. When we recruit people, when you recruit employees to our companies, of course the government recruits thousands of people without even having an interview. But we do have interviews. But when we recruit people, we have a challenge. What is that challenge? We should recruit people who can be trained and developed. Not all people can be easily trained and developed. When I was introduced to you, she said, I have done some studies in Buddhism. So I will tell you from that perspective why I consider it important to select people who are trainable and developable. When I am sure, of course, if you take Sri Lankan demographics, If I go by that, I am sure most of you are Buddhists, and there are people in the audience of other faiths, surely, but all faiths are the same, the teachings. Now, when ascetic Gautama became Buddha, or when he attained enlightenment, he was not sure whether to teach his doctrine to the people. He was pondering whether he should teach the doctrine, because he thought his teachings are going to be too deep, too subtle, difficult to understand, only wise people will be able to understand, and it's not an easy doctrine to understand. So then the story goes that this God appears, Brahma Sahampati appears and tells Buddha thrice, no, go ahead and teach the doctrine. Then Buddha surveys the world and identifies 9 types of people in the world. That is why it is relevant to you. Who are these 9 types of people Buddha identified? First is the people with lot of dust in their eyes. People who don't have clear vision. They can't see things clearly. And then 2, there are people with little dust. They can see things better, clearer. They can see what is right, what is wrong. So 2 types of people. Third type, strong faculties, people with strong faculties. There are people with strong faculties. Good body, good eyesight, good, all the faculties. Physically fit. Then there are people with dull faculties. Among us also there are people with strong faculties as well as dull faculties. So 4 types of people. Easy to teach people, difficult to teach people. There are naturally people who are easy to teach. You come across in your life. There are people who can be easily taught. There are people who are difficult to teach. 6 types of people. 7th type, naturally well-behaving people. They are naturally well-behaving people. And then there are people who are naturally bad-behaving people. 8 types. 9th type, fearing the next world, they don't do wrong things. That's a 9th type. So, I tell, of course, my colleague Atula, our group HR manager, when we try to recruit people, his job is to recruit the 5 types of people who answer the description of these 5 types. What are the 5 types? People with no dust in their eyes, easy to teach, strong faculties, naturally well behaving, and fearing this world and next world, who don't do wrong things. That is HR management. If you can select these 5 people, 5 types of people into the organization, take these 5 types of people into the organization, your organization will succeed. And your job will be easier. You can train people, you can develop people easily. So that is a very important aspect of training and development. Then, when you develop people, you should always try to develop people as leaders. Not only in their own job, but they should be able to do other jobs, leading people. As you know, leadership is very different from management. Management, I always say, is a very logical function. Management means motivating, controlling, supervising, directing people. That is a very logical function. But leadership is a different function, which is a psychological function. In leadership, you need to stimulate people, challenge people, You need to envision. You have to give vision to people. So leadership is a psychological function. For that, you need to understand how people should be developed as leaders. And for that, you should see whether you can develop yourself as a leader. Without developing leadership skills, training is a waste. Because however much you train people, in my opinion, with my experience, if you don't develop, if you don't take steps to develop people, that training will go waste. Because they will not be able to take the next step in their career. So as an organization, we should always try to help people take the next important step in their career. If you cannot do that, that means you are failing as a training and development professional. Then, if you take, as I said, I am speaking to you at a very challenging time, difficult time. I know professionally, vocationally, and personally, you face immense challenges. You face immense challenges in your day-to-day life. In coming to work, you face challenges. Going back home, you face challenges. In your work, you face challenges. Now, as training and development professionals, you are supposed to understand people's skills. You are supposed to understand people's psychology. If you understand people's skills and people's psychology, you should be able to understand and also explain the factors that have brought the country and us to the present situation. When I look back, when I engage myself in a self-criticism exercise, I ask myself whether in my organization as well as in other associations I am involved with, whether we have performed that job in getting people to understand the root causes of the problems we have today. And honestly, the answer I can give myself is no. Because we have not really identified the root causes. Root causes are coming from the people. If we haven't understood the root causes, that gave rise to these problems we have. So it is important for us to understand the root causes and find solutions. Now, when we look at the country's forward march, country's future, of course we have a huge protest going on right now, demanding constitutional changes, social changes, political changes, and also economic changes. Now today I was talking to a lawyer, and in that conversation it figured that if we fix the constitutional problems in this country, most of the problems will get sorted out. I said no. Constitutional problems problems in the country will not get sorted out just because we go ahead and fix the constitution. Why? I told that lawyer today, in a company, you have a very strong set of memorandum and articles. The company's administration revolves around systems and procedures and also the memorandum and articles. How the company deals with shareholders, directors is defined by the memorandum and articles. You know that. But just because you have a strong set of memorandum and articles, does that mean that the company is running well? No. Just because you have a set of rules, you have a set of laws, does not mean that the country is running well or the company is running well. So we should have right management. Not only having right management, but as training and development professionals, when you develop people, right, you should encourage people, teach people, educate people about the importance of understanding the structural reforms the country needs. You should understand yourself the structural needs, structural reforms country needs. This country badly needs major reforms in our education sector. That is why we are not developing our skills and competencies. To give you an example, we have 3 million Sri Lankans working overseas, remitting $7 billion. Now it is down by half. $7 billion are remitted by roughly 3 million people working overseas. But do you know, there are 30,000 foreigners, high income earning foreigners in Sri Lanka who remit away $1 billion. 30,000 people take $1 billion of that 7 billion remitted by 3 million people. So if you put that same ratio, 3 million people should be able to remit $100 billion. If they remit $100 billion, this country can have a party. We don't need $100 billion. If they send 20% of that, $20 billion, we can have a party. Because we don't need that much money. Why they cannot do that? Because we haven't built competencies in this country. We haven't trained and developed people. Yes, there are many training and development institutes, but in my opinion, universities and other educational institutes, when I get opportunities to address university students, academics, I tell the same thing. We need to focus more on building competencies in this country. If we don't build competencies in this country, we will never come out of this crisis. Because we send people who engage in cheap labor, who cannot remit sufficient money to even cover the education, their education our people have paid for. So, in this respect, I think my time is up. So I wish to conclude by just giving you another message. Now, another point I want to put across to you to think about is, now people are talking about the citizenship. We hear in these protests also, Puravasiole Sahasiremu. What do you mean by acting as citizens? See, in every religion, there are 3 components. There is the ethical development part, how to go to heaven, how to achieve nirvana. There is that ethical development part. And then there is that economic development part. Now in Buddhism, there are so many discourses delivered by Buddha on how to make money, how to work, what trades to engage in. That's all the economic development part, economic theory. You have the ethical theory, then you have the economic theory, and then you have the political theory of religions. Now, Buddhist political theory is a very strong theory. It's the same theory in Catholicism or Christianity. I'm sorry, I am not really sure of what Islam says about the political theory, but I am sure, 100% sure, it is the same thing. In Catholicism, there is Politics of Jesus, the book written in 1972 by John Howard. In Buddhism, recently a professor of economics of California University wrote a book on Buddhism and political theory. What it says is, political theory has 3 components like a triangle. Here on top, it has limited citizenship theory. Then here on this side, it has the theory of ethics. And on this side, there is theory of no self, that there is no permanent self. What it really means is, if you are a citizen of a country, what Buddhism says, what Buddha says is, if you are a citizen of a country, you have a duty to connect ethical and selfless people to government. If you are not connecting ethical and selfless people to government, you are not a full citizen in that country. That's what Buddhism says. You are a PR holder. For the last 70 years, we have been permanent residents in this country. We acted as permanent residents because we did not understand the difference between a PR holder and a citizen. Citizen is someone who will always think government money is my money. The country should be run by good people. The country should be run better. The country should be run for the benefit of the people. That is how a citizen thinks. But the PR holder doesn't care. PR holder is there to make some money, eat and drink, take a loan and buy a house, repay that and disappear. And that is how we have been thinking in this country. Not only the civil society, even the religious clergy. Even the religious clergy have lived in this country as not citizens but PR holders. So we should learn to live as a citizen in this country. When you get an audience to speak, when you get an audience to develop, when you get an audience to train, you should train people and develop people to think like citizens. If people think like citizens, then we will always connect ethical and selfless people to government. Then only we can create an ethical and a law-abiding society. What are the people in the protest today asking for? They are asking for an ethical and a law-abiding country. They are asking for an ethical and law-abiding state machinery. It's not only the leader, it is not only the president, it is the state machinery itself should be ethical and law-abiding. And if we are asking for that today, that means we have not done anything to create that. That we need to accept. We need to accept it, and we need to forgive ourselves actually for not doing that, for not doing our duty to this nation. And we should make that determination that we will do whatever we can to get people, to teach people, to educate people, to influence people to think as citizens of this country. So I don't wish to speak at length. I think I have taken about 2-3 minutes extra as well. So I wish the award recipients and the certificate recipients all the best in their future endeavors. And I also congratulate Padma Siri, whom I affectionately call. I heard that he is today the outgoing president as well. I congratulate you for that excellent service you have rendered to this institute, and I wish this institute all the best, and I hope very sincerely that this institute will do what it takes, to help this country move forward. Thank you.